Thank you all for being here. But most importantly, thank you all for having me. Because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Yes. So for that, your time, your energy is very much appreciated, so thank you. I'm not going to be talking to you guys today from a mountaintop success like I'm detached from reality, away from you. I'm going to be speaking to you guys today from a place of experience, so hopefully you can feel like I'm with you. Like many of you, I am still growing. So I'm glad that we can grow together. So today is all about finding will to overcome challenges. And will is the most powerful positive emotion you can use as a weapon to combat the negative emotions that come with trying to overcome a challenge. See, some of us, we may feel fearful in the face of a big challenge in front of us. Some of us may feel hesitant in the face of a challenge that we know we can overcome. And some of us quite simply just procrastinate trying to overcome challenges on our journey. So I want you guys to repeat after me. I am determined. I am driven. I am consistent. All right, repeat that again. I am determined. I am driven. And I am consistent. Ooh, see what you guys did there? You guys just gave me the components of what will is made out of. And that's determination, that's drive, and that's consistency. So when you're feeling fearful in the face of a challenge that's right in front of you, when you're feeling like you're hesitant to overcome a challenge that you know you can overcome, when you're feeling like you're procrastinating on your journey, just remember these affirmations. I am determined, I am driven, and I'm consistent. So today I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable with you guys. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this message or this story, but for the sake of showing you all how I use will in my life to overcome challenges, I'm going to share. So when I was a young boy, I remember being in my living room, always trying to touch the ceiling. The ceiling was about 8 feet tall, and I was about 4 feet short. And every day, I would try to touch the ceiling. So I would jump. And I was jumping. But then the more I jumped, the more tired I got. The more tired I got, the farther away from the ceiling I got. And my dad would always be on the couch, laying back, looking at me. And he would say, "You're not even jumping." What you mean I'm not even jumping? I'm trying my hardest to touch the ceiling. He said, "You're not even jumping." So he would always say, "You're not even jumping." And then one day, I'm trying my hardest to touch the ceiling. He said, "You're not even jumping." I said, I can't do it. That was the first time I ever told my dad I can't. He had this look of disgust on his face. And he told me, "I hate that word can't. You're not even trying. It's okay. Just keep going." And hearing those words, combined with the look on his face, it frustrated me. It really made me mad because I feel like you're telling me I'm not doing something that I know I'm trying to do. Nonetheless, I was trying to touch the ceiling. And to prove him wrong, I was determined, I was driven, and I was consistent on my pursuit to touch the ceiling. Now, eventually, over time, I grew. The ceiling got a little bit shorter than me, and I was able to finally touch the ceiling, allow myself time to grow. And that story in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, is the relationship I have with my father. He encouraged and motivated me to always reach for the ceiling. See, my dad, he was very big on stability and education. You know, like I really listened to him because, not just because he was my dad, right? I listened to him because he was my hero. The way he walked, the way he talked, certain mannerisms he would do. That was all from him, and I mimicked that. So when he talked, I listened. He wasn't a man of many words, but when he spoke, it was usually words of wisdom. So in knowing that he was big on education, I pursued higher education. In all my pursuit, times got hard. Times got difficult. And when times got difficult, I would call him, and frequently I would say, I just can't do this. It's hard, I can't. To that he would reply, I hate that word can't. You're not even trying. It's okay. Just keep going. So in hearing those words, it brought me back to when I was a young boy. And it forced me to be determined, driven, and consistent in my pursuit to touch the ceiling in higher education. And that's what I did. The more I jumped, the more levels I got to. So I would jump and get my associate degree. I would jump and get my bachelor's degree. I would jump and get my master's degree. Then I would jump, and eventually I feel like I touched the ceiling when I got a good job. Then I made it. May 19, 2019. It's the happiest day of my life. I was graduating, getting my master's degree. And I remember after getting my certificate, I'm walking down the aisle. I'm seeing my friends and family support my accomplishment and share this moment with me. But most special to me, I saw the look on my dad's face. He had this look as if he was a proud father watching his baby boy take his first steps in life, knowing that he was about to grow and create his own life and become a man. And me, I felt like I fulfilled a duty to my dad by getting this higher education, getting my diploma, and getting a good job. I did it. It was the happiest day of my life. But 6 weeks later was the saddest day of my life. July 11th, 2019, I remember coming home. A long day of work. I get on the couch. I'm laid back. And I remember as I'm falling asleep, I have this nightmare and I wake into a phone call. It's my brother. I'm like, hello? I hear his voice shaking. I'm like, hello? He said, Dad died. I said, what you mean Dad died? He said, Dad died. I hung up the phone. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what to believe. I'm in shock. No emotions came to mind, just confusion. After a while, reality set in and the sadness set in. And when the sadness set in, I lost all motivation. I lost all purpose. I lost all reason for continuing. The man that I modeled my walk, my talk, my phrases, my mannerisms after, my hero, was gone. And I don't remember much from that time, but it was a blur to me. And like a movie cutscene, I went from being on a couch, finding out about my father's passing that was so unexpected, to being at his funeral. And at his funeral, I'm hearing all these people come up to me saying all these things about my father. He was cool. He was kind. He was caring. He was compassionate. He was funny. And as they're saying these things to me, it hit me. What will they say about me at my funeral? When it's all said and done, what will they say about me? So I encourage you all to ask yourselves, what will they say about you when it's all said and done? What will they say about your effort? What will they say about your work? What will they say about your will to overcome challenges? For me, I knew I wanted them to say, Jeremy made an impact on my life. He allowed me to change my perspective, to believe I can will to be whatever I want to be. He was determined. He was driven. And he was consistent. And like the next cutscene, I'm back at work. And I have this new revelation. But I'm sitting at this cubicle and I realize, what am I doing here? I'm not even passionate about what I'm doing. I'm making good money and I'm comfortable. I remember a life-defining conversation I had with my boy while I was on vacation from my job. And I'm telling him, I really don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. I don't have any purpose in it. There's way more for me outside of this cubicle. But I don't know how to leave. I'm making great money. I'm stable. And I'm comfortable. Matter of fact, I can't leave. And when I said I can't leave, I heard a familiar voice in the back of my head. It was my father. And he said, I hate that word can't, Jeremy. You're not even trying. It's okay. Just keep going. So with those words ringing true, it was the biggest blessing of my life when a week later from that conversation, when I got back from work, that I got fired from that job. Was I upset at first? Of course. But then I realized I just asked for this. I have another chance at life. And just like when I was a young boy, I have another chance to grow and touch the ceiling. You see, immediately after I got fired, I asked myself 3 pivotal questions that became the base for the book that I wrote the day after I got fired. And you guys can write these questions down as well. Those questions were, what am I grateful for? What do I want? But most importantly, what can I do today? I asked myself those questions because I need to be grateful for the situation I just put myself in, that I asked for. I asked myself what I wanted so I could see a vision of where I'm going. But then I asked myself, what can I do today? Because I know I need to build the blocks to get to where I have to go, to get to where I see. And in answering these questions, they allowed me to be what? Determined, driven, and consistent in my pursuit to impact lives through my speaking, through my writing, through my entrepreneurial endeavors, and have people change their perspective to believe they can be whatever they will to be. Just how I declared at the funeral. You see, we're always going to have challenges in our lives. But there's only 2 ways to look at life's challenges. There's facts and there's problems. What's happened to you, what you said, what's been said to you, what's done is in your past. That's a fact. You can't change it. How you move forward, your next actions, that's your problem. How you handle that difficult conversation, that's your problem. How you handle that product launch, that's your problem. How you advertise for your business, that's your problem. And problems aren't bad things to have. A lot of times they're great problems. It's how you view the problem and what you do with it. What factor are you going to make out of this problem? And the word problem, it can be interchanged with obstacles. It can be interchanged with challenges. But whether you're using problems, obstacles, or challenges, they all have the same thing in common. With enough will, you can overcome them. And you can be whatever you will to be. So I want to give you guys today 5 practical steps that you can use to find will on your journeys to overcome any challenge you may be going through. Step number 1. Understand where you are currently today with the amount of will you have in your situation. I'm going to say that again. Understand where you are today with the amount of will that you have in your current situation. If you don't have as much will as you would want, ask yourself why. Some of us, we may just say, I get lazy sometimes, or it's hard for me to stick with things. Or, truthfully, if we're being real, just right before some of us quit, we declare to ourselves, I'm just bored. Or the effort just isn't worth it for me. Or I can't, so I give up. But in order for you to find will, you must understand that none of these statements you tell yourself are true. Never, ever, ever put yourself behind the 8 ball by telling yourself you can't. Always tell yourself you can so you can will yourself towards a goal. Step number 2. Find your interest in what drives you. Find your interest in what drives you. You see, most of us, when we start something, we have a picture-perfect vision of what it looks like generally. We kind of see what it looks like, what it, how we would like it to go, and it's generally a perfect picture of the best case scenario. But a lot of times we fail to see the individual images of the tasks that we need to do to build that image, to build the ultimate vision. And a lot of times those tasks are really annoying, right? But the overall picture must outweigh the annoying tasks. They're only annoying because they're testing how bad you really think you're interested in what you're doing. It's like going to a store and seeing a 1,000-piece puzzle on the shelf, and you kind of like the picture, so you buy it for the challenge, right? And then you get home, and then you dump the pieces on the table, and then you realize, damn, it's a lot of pieces. 1,000 is a lot of pieces. So if you're not that invested into the picture in the first place, you might just haphazardly start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Just color for color, trying to jam the pieces where you think they may fit. But after a while, the puzzle's not going to look right. But most importantly, it's not going to feel right. And it's the feeling that you're after. The feeling of satisfaction of getting to the ultimate vision when you first bought the puzzle. But if you were actually interested in the actual picture of the puzzle, you might take your time and put the pieces correctly together. You might be more diligent until you get the perfect picture of what you first envisioned. Until you get the feeling of what you first envisioned. You see, ladies and gentlemen, enthusiasm is common. But endurance, that's rare. Write that down. Enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. We all can have a new idea tomorrow. We can all start a new business tomorrow. But to follow through on that, when you're challenged, when you hit a roadblock, that takes endurance. But some of us, we may hit that roadblock, quit, and decide, I want to do something else. I really like this too, so I'm going to switch up. But why is that? It's because enthusiasm is common. But those who stick with it, follow through, and prosper over the challenge, that takes endurance. And that is rare. Step number 3. You need to plan and practice. Plan and practice. Find your weaknesses. Work on them until they complement what you're good at. Hours after hours, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, until you master the abilities within you. Whatever your situation is, you need to practice. Practice a scenario. Practice that conversation, right? Whatever it is, you need to practice it. Whatever game you playing, you need to have a plan. That's why they call it a game plan. If you do not have a plan going to the game, you're liable to have a bad game. If you don't practice the plan, the game could go awry. But if you practice, you'll be able to go into the game confidently. And confidence breeds the will to overcome challenges. And just understand, whatever game you playing is your game. It's not with anybody else. Right? You're running your own race. While you put in the work and you practicing, you playing it, don't look at somebody else's results and compare yourself. Never compare your work to somebody else's results, because you will get there. Write that down. Never compare my work to somebody else's results. Step number 4. You need to find your purpose. Right? You know what interests you, you know what drives you, but what's your purpose? You need to know that your work matters, not only to yourself, but to the people around you. The people that's involved with what you're doing. You see, what interests and what drives you without purpose is unsustainable, and you will lose will. You can write that one down too. Interest without purpose is unsustainable, and you will lose will. But you can grow your will by finding your purpose. Some of you may be in a situation right now that you don't really want to be in. Right? But you have to find purpose in what you're doing in order to grow that confidence, to build that will to overcome until you can do what you really want to do. So grow your will by finding your purpose. Step number 5, and this is the most important step. This is a step where many of us get lost. This is a step where many of us really don't make it through. Step number 5, just have hope through it all. When times get hard, when you're rejected, when things don't go your way, when you're challenged and you're knocked down, the only way that you lose will is if you stay down. Having hope will build your will to get up and conquer in the face of adversity. So I am so thankful to this day that I can still hear my dad saying, I hate that word can't. You're not even trying. It's okay. Just keep going. Because every day I wake up and believe that I can. And every day I jump trying to reach my ceiling. So I want you all to leave here today trying to jump and reach your ceiling and have will. And we all remember the affirmations of will, right? Say them with me. I am determined. I am determined. I am driven. I am driven. And I am consistent. Thank you for having me. My name is Jeremy Clark, and may you be able to find will to overcome on your journeys.